Hi, and welcome back. Goodness gracious, it's been so long. I couldn't get into the software that I use to record, and then after that, let me catch you up. First, let's start with our scripture, always the same ones. It's probably my dearest. I don't know. There's so many great scriptures that just speak to you. It's hard to say really which one would be anyone's favorite, I think, but mine is always in Psalms. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. I know that everyone's probably wondering where Bessie's been. Usually my other daughter watches her daughter while we record, and she's working now, so it makes it hard for her to record. But we'll get it together. We'll figure out something, and because normally one daughter watches my granddaughter and the other one participates, but we'll figure out something. I'm sure that y'all are missing her. I know that I've missed y'all. Thank y'all for coming back. I'm so glad that you're able to join me today. I know that there's been some very difficult weather, and I know that it's impacting a lot of people and a lot of lives. I've been keeping you in prayer, and I hope that those that have been impacted have back power, or goodness knows that they'll have it back soon. I don't use TV, and I don't really use radio. So what I know is by picking up things here and there or by friends. But it sounds like Pennsylvania got some tornado traffic. So they've been in my prayers. Just to catch y'all up a little bit, I have hair, even more hair than the last time I recorded. And I think that that's a good thing. No, it's not very cooperative hair. It was strange when it fell out. It was brown with a little bit of gray when treatments began. And then the front part turned gray, but the back part stayed brown. And then it's turned a strange color of grayish, greenish, strange color, and it was gone. And it didn't really give any warning. It was sort of right on schedule. They told me that probably it would fall out starting sometime around the third treatment, and it was right on schedule, pretty much. So it didn't, I thought that it would be traumatic, but it wasn't. Anyone that knows me knows my hair was down to the floor, and that would be traumatic, because I had always had it. It just wasn't. And it coming back gray is an adjustment, but it doesn't bother me. In my mind, though, it did come back brown, but I was prepared for anything. My doctor had said that he had seen it, leave gray and come back red. Interesting, right? I don't know what would cause the difference, but I don't know. It for some reason does. So hair's back, and my blood counts are still nowhere near what they're supposed to be. So I'm still tired a lot, and I don't really accept it. I'm determined that I'm going to do everything that I was doing before I wasn't feeling so good. So I'm doing all of my own everythings. It just takes me longer. And every now and then I just sort of get like frustrated I think with the situation, I don't know how to describe it, but I think it's frustrated. It's probably the right word, because I just want to do, like I used to do and be strong, but I'm still not. Some reason my blood just, instead of climbing, it's dropping a little bit. So, and I haven't gotten the all clear yet on, you're definitely totally cancer clear. I haven't gotten that all clear yet. That's still pending, but I think I'm clear. I'm going to claim that. As you can tell, I'm tired. My energy is still, by this time of day, I'm like, I can't go to bed still. So I think it's sort of normal. I don't feel alarmed or anything about it. I'm not concerned about it. My mind itself is doing a whole lot better. I started taking ashwagandha. I highly recommend that to anyone that is on this road. I highly recommend it. It made big changes once. It was kind of two phases with me. I had to first take it, but then I also had to remember to take it. And that's, when you're not remembering anything anyway, remembering to take something was a step. I had sticky notes here and there giving myself instructions on different things, because things were just falling through cracks. So that's improved a ton. Even like drinking water, I tried different methods to remind me to drink water. Like at the beginning of the day, I would fill a pitcher, and by lunchtime it needed to be empty, and then filled back up, and then by bedtime it needed to be emptied again. And that wasn't that wasn't a reminder enough. I needed to be more bold with my own reminders. So I started setting alarms that would say, like, fill water. So that helped, things like that. And then now I remember on my own to do it. I guess it's finally become a habit, or I'm finally remembering better. We'll go with that. I think I'm remembering better. It's still words that it's different words I'll try to think of, and they're just they're gone. Even if I just said it or just read it or something like that, it's still just, I can't touch it. It's just out of my reach. And I'll remember, it starts with a C or something like that, but that's as good as it's getting. And let's see, what else have I got great to update? That's like I'm so tired. Any kind of a trip, even if it seems so benign. I went today, and I'll add links for anyone that happens to be in the area. It's a bit of a drive for me, but it's not bad. But it's the only place I know of like this. So I went to a boutique this morning, and they size you, scan you, and let you select prosthetics that would take place after a mastectomy. So you don't have to be aware that you're flat. My life allows me to enjoy just being flat, because I'm not seen a lot. For a large part, I'm still having to keep kind of to myself because my blood counts are so low. And when I go someplace, I haven't really given it much thought. I wear some kind of like padding that came with the supports that I use, but I'm not aware of it, but I'm older. I think if I were in my 20s or 30s or something like that, I'd be more aware, maybe. Or if, I don't know, if life was a little bit different, I would probably be aware. And I know that other women are aware. Remember when I was in radiation, we called it the chicken coop because we were all talking. And one of the women in the group had cancer in one side, but not the other. But she did elect to have both sides removed to decrease a chance of reoccurrence. And she was having, even though I think she was older than I am, and we won't go into how old I am. No thanks. So she was aware, and she had told her doctor that it just felt strange, not wearing foundation or, just wearing a shirt or looking in the mirror and it's just flat. And he goes, well, what is it? Do you want knitted knockers or something? And she hadn't heard of them before. And her heart was hurt. She thought he was making an unhappy comment back to her, which in a way it could have been phrased a lot differently, because there are avenues that even if you decide that you don't want to go for reconstruction, there are other avenues to take. And I think a lot of women just don't know of these other avenues. Knitted knockers is one of them. It's a little pillow that you put there instead of what used to be there. And it looks perfectly natural. They come in different sizes. You just sort of pick one and kind of mush it around. I tried them. They looked like a pillow. It was not a good match. Mostly what I wear now is, just what comes with the support that I use, because it just gives me, I'm no longer flat looking with it on, but it gives me sort of an athletic look, I guess you could call, which again, most of the time I'm home. So it doesn't bother me one way or the other. I went to a funeral and I wore a dress, and once I got home, I realized it was a rather form-fitting at the top dress, and I realized, well, that does look just a smidgen odd, but if someone's looking that close at me, they need to marry me. Because it was different. Probably I would notice it more than anyone else because I'm used to seeing, what used to be there, but it's almost completely healed. It's still a little bit sore. I think I've got a glitch because some of my stitches still have not dissolved and gone away. And the part that was hanging out has broken off, and I'm not sure now how the rest is going to be taken out. I'm not going to think about that. I'll see one of my surgeons next week and I'll let him figure it out. But while I was in the boutique today, one of the women that were with me, one of them is just a dear, wonderful friend. And she had me set up with who she considers to be the best of the best to scan me and get things perfect and get things right, get the selection right, because you pick your size. You don't have to try to, well, you can decide, it's just as close to what I was as possible, or, something along those lines. I consciously chose to size down a lot. Yeah, that's what I chose. But she said that the prosthetics actually are coming from Ireland, that they're resourced out to a company in Ireland. I believe she said it was near Dublin. And they get all the information and everything here. It's some things that they can do here, but it goes there and you can select things. This was so amazing. You can select that you have freckles on your prosthetic, or if you're someone that had, you're accustomed to thinner skin there, and you could usually see your blood vessels or whatever through, they hand paint on freckles, they hand paint on blood vessels, and they scan you so that where your scar is and your prosthetic will meet again together like a little puzzle piece. And it's very comfortable, it's very breathable, it's silicone, so it feels pretty real, pretty real, pretty real. And because you've taken the time to select what you want exactly, it looks pretty much like what you're expecting. You tried on with, without clothing or whatever on, and you tried on with clothing on and they're giving you, what their thoughts are and everything, because it really is hard. It doesn't seem it. I mean, as I'm talking, I'm like, this sounds really simple. Yet, as I was making my selections and looking at these little swatches of, see, I've already forgotten that word. Again, though I'm tired. That trip, I don't know why it took it so out of me, but the swatches of silicone, we were matching it to my normal skin color, not where I'm tanned, but where I wouldn't be tanned. And I selected some freckles just because of, I don't know, flaws in skin seem normal. I don't know. I didn't have any blood vessels drawn in, though they had some samples of one that did have them, and it looked very realistic. But I didn't really remember seeing any on mine. So, plus, I don't know. I can't imagine who's going to be seeing it anyway. So I was more concerned about different other things. But the woman that was there with me took pictures, and I'll add them, and I'll tell you what's going on with each one. Okay. This is what you have to choose from. I think that my mouse will show. If not, the one on the left is the prosthetic, and the one on the right is sort of make-believe that this woman only had one breast removed. And in this case, that would be the woman's natural breast. And the one on the left, as we're looking at it, would be the prosthetic. And in this one, it's a closer view of the prosthetic. They would also add the tattoos at the top. It's actually one tattoo. It's the pink ribbon and another little tattoo that creates a heart in the ribbon. And I did actually choose to add this to my prosthetic because to me, it's all part of that journey. And it isn't actually part of my body. It's a marking just like the other markings that are on there. And you select all the markings that are on there. The areola, you select the color. Everything else you select if it would be flat or sort of protruding or what. You select that and you decide how you want it to look. Another view of it. I think it looks, I mean, if you didn't see the hand holding it, first view, you'd think, what have you put us into, girl? That's on the back side of it. The bottom part you can see matches where she's holding the prosthetic. And the bottom part would mimic how it looks after you've had your surgery. Everyone's scar looks very similar to this, at least all of them that I've seen. And they do an electronic scan, and the prosthetic is molded to fit perfectly into that scar that you're left with. And it helps it to stay put and be more comfortable, because that was the way that it was designed. And here are the swatches I was talking about that you can choose from and make it look the way that either you remember it as looking, or if you still have the other breast, you can try to color up the very way that your existing one still is. In my case, I was just working from memory. So those that you saw are not mine. And this is what I was working from, was this group of colors and designs. And I had help. They helped me also. You know, I agree with that color. I think that that's a good choice. I think that's closest. But still, it's really, I don't know the circumstance it would really be seen. So I think it's more a mental thing for the person that has to wear it, so that they're more able to kind of look up and go, that looks just dandy, or something like that. It's so many things that I was prepared for, thought about, and then there were other things that happened so fast I didn't have time to think out or ponder how it would go or how I would feel or things like that. Most of mine was very fast moving, and then I was so instantly tired, I didn't have time to be, concerned about much. I didn't worry at all during any of it. I never had an, oh no, I'm going to die moment or something like that. Other people might. Other people get a lot sicker from the chemo. I was talking to someone else. Something that I remember did help me with chemo, and it was instinctively done. And then recently I saw a report, and it supported me doing this, and it was just, I'll just call it a God thing, because I don't know how else to explain it. I felt like I shouldn't eat. Yes, I would be hungry, but I felt like I shouldn't eat the day before chemotherapy and then the day of chemotherapy. Most of the time I wouldn't eat, but if I did eat, I ate very light. And that thumping noise that you hear every now and then is my dog. I'm not about to say her name. She'll spring up. And fasting, it turns out, is really good to handle the nausea. Most people that did fasting during chemotherapy the day before and the day of didn't have the degree of nausea that other people experienced. So I happened into some really great stuff. Again, I had nurses and everything that were so aware of not only me, but all of the patients. They always knew what to check for, and they always had great advice. This I stumbled on my own, so I'm relaying it. If you're on this track, you've been on the track, I know that it'll be hard, but try fasting the day before your chemotherapy and the day of, or at least going really light mealed on the day of. And you might see a very big difference in your nausea. I definitely did. Initially, I was trying to eat and just be normal. I think that was my biggest thing. I've got to just be normal. I got to keep everything normal. And I just wanted to stay on beat. And the eating thing did cause glitches. And in my case, it was really easy just to skip meals, just to fast. I felt much better when I fasted all the way around. So in my case, fasting was easy. It might not work that way with everyone, though. Each thing I say, it might not work that way with you. I'll say that. Or if you had moments of pure fear, I can totally understand that. And I'm not being the least bit, oh, you silly soul, you got scared and I didn't. No, I think that in my case, one, I've got very strong faith. So faith carried me a lot. And it all moved, and I was so tired that it just didn't ever occur to me to take the time to feel scared or to, I think I felt like I only have this amount of energy and I can only use it for these things. So I used my energy like what I thought was really applying it well. But, like I've said before, whatever gets you through it, do it. If crying gets you through it until the next, do it. If prayer gets you through it, absolutely do it. My case, it was a lot of laughter and a lot of prayer. And I believe that is what, I was so determined. I was never depressed. I was so determined, cancer is totally messing with the wrong woman, and I will show it because I am not going to accept this, kind of a thing. And I think that worked for me, and what worked for me might not work for everyone, but that worked for me. And I had so many people praying for me and so much support. So those that see this and that you're one of the people that were praying for me, thank you. Thank you so much. And it was, I would get little messages and things like that. Like in Facebook, I'd get private messages and things that were just sweet, And it sort of like it didn't even matter if it wasn't true. It was like, you looked really good in, your presentation. And I'm like, okay, not true, but really sweet. Thank you. So it was little things like that went a long, long ways. So it's things, I've said before, as you know, people or whatever that are battling cancer, the teeny tiniest things that you can say or do covers a lot of miles. So a little, you look really nice today or something like that. Even if, you're a little bit alarmed that they don't look that nice today, hearing it just goes so far because you're like, oh, I didn't know that I was, So, hearing that you look nice or you're looking so healthy, I heard that a lot. And, looking back, I looked very healthy the whole time. So I was full-blown blessed a lot. And my shirt, I wanted to point out my shirt. It says God wins. And it's got a lion on it. It's got God wins going down the side. And it's got the flag on it. And I think that we're also, with all the other things that are happening in families and in lives and in health, everyone stays a little bit aware of also what's happening to the country. And, the things that you do agree with, the things you don't agree with, but every direction. I've met a lot of people that felt really alarmed. And again, I don't have the energy that I want to direct toward feeling alarmed for it. So I saw the shirt and it says God wins. And I feel like no matter what, God wins, whether it's the country, our lives, or everything. God wins. Everything, we place it in his hands. So I got the shirt so that other people could just see, if it's one of those people that are sort of panicking about everything, then they can see it for themselves. God wins. And I'll link it up just in case you want one too, so that you can silently reassure other people. And let's see, what else did I want to cover? Garden. I want to do some garden stuff. I have tried something bizarre, folks. You gotta see this. I don't know what to think. And I'm not sure if it's doing anything yet either. So I should have done a before, during and after kind of a thing. But again, energy is a struggle. And it's been, while it hasn't been really super hot here, it's been terribly humid. And standing up outside in this humidity, it makes me dizzy and everything else. I'm not the girl to do that yet. Time has come to help you to do it. But I think that those are all of my updates. I've said this last time, and then like I said, couldn't get into my software. I want to be here at least once a week, hopefully twice a week, and show y'all some things that are going on and keep you up to date on some other things. But you can see me, I'm fine. My hair isn't, it's the most uncooperative hair. It came back quite curly in the back, and it's beginning to get long enough to curl in the front. Somehow the back is longer than the front. But also the front is what changed a strange color and then fell out. The back just fell out. So maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know. But, if y'all got questions, just drop them in there. If I don't know the answer, I'll find out the answer. If it's something that you want to know, I don't know, did you such and such, feel free to ask. And I don't mind answering it. Somehow it feels better coming from someone that you know has been there. Doctors know, they know facts, they do. And they know things to tell you, and what causes this and what causes that. But it's somehow different coming from someone that actually really walked it. Like what I just said about the nausea. When I told my nurse this very same thing the other day, she had never heard it, that if you fast before chemo, your body is basically ready to sort of fight at it instead of just accept it and let it make you sick. So she had never heard it. So they know a lot. They absolutely know a lot. But I think you actually had to do the walk to know more in a way. I don't pretend to know medically more than they do. No way. But it's other things I did pick up that had been very helpful to me. Next time I see you, I need to remember to show you a supplement I'm using that is super duper helping with neuropathy. If I forget it a day, yes, I do forget that every now and then. You would think that something that important that works that well, I wouldn't forget it. But maybe me. I do. I'll bring a bottle of that with me next time and let you see what that is. Great for neuropathy, makes a huge change. Normally, if I don't take it, like if I went like that, I would put the wrong amount of pressure on it or miss completely, scratch my face or something. I've got to scrape down here where I did that because the nerves and the responses are just not what they should be. So that helps. When that's in my system, it helps me a lot. So I'll bring that next time. I might link it up in the bottom. I might link it up. I'll link it up in the bottom along with where I got my shirt. I'm not good at making this thing show up right. But lion, and then down below further, it says God wins, but God shows. It's a very neat shirt. So thank y'all for joining me. And as we say, until we meet again, which hopefully is either later this week or next week, definitely peace, peace be with you. And thank you for being with me. Peace be with you.